I see you.
Right. Are you hiding all of our free Star Trek action figures that we're supposed to get for coming? I don't see them out.
I'll assure you I'm not hiding. Understatement of the millennium. What is going on?
So that was a fun panel.
Oh, good. I'm glad you. It's funny. It felt so chaotic to me, but like when I used to go to panels all the time, it was like the ones that, like I always say, like I saw the Ting Tings once, and the lead singer dropped her mic and just kept singing. Coolest thing I ever saw. Rihanna and 9 Inch Nails, all lip syncing, if not worse. And it's like the worst show I ever saw. So I just, today with all the technical problems and all the a friend of mine was in the crowd and she was like, "Are you guys drunk?" But so for me, I'm like, oh, maybe this was a bad panel for people, but it's the kind of panel I would love.
You rolled with it. It was good.
Yeah, just fucking around.
Yeah, Brian, you talked last time that I had you on about kind of the energy at San Diego. It was the first time you guys had panels somewhere. And now with Nacelle growing and the energy of New York Comic-Con, can you talk a little bit about that perspective of the fan engagement? I know that means so much to you.
I mean, again, this sounds, I can't, like I think about it from your point of view, how cheesy this must sound, but it really is my favorite thing in the world. That Star Trek mailing list we have, we get 20 to 100 emails a week, depending on what's going on. And I'm always like, I read all of them, I answer all of them, yada, yada, yada. And people are all like, "Oh, you're amazing. You're like such a great, you love the fans and blah, blah." And like, again, I know this is weird, but like, yeah, I love the fans, sure. It's like, I love talking. Like, I love talking about this shit. And like the fact that if I have 20 minutes to kill before a flight, I can go boop. And I just sit there talking about Star Trek for 20 emails. Like, it's the greatest thing in the world. So yeah, like who wouldn't want to do this? So yeah, but it really is. And I know today's panel probably didn't show this well, but my favorite thing about the panels is the Q&A. Because I already know everything we're about to say. So what fun is that for me, right, selfishly? But just hearing the questions, and there are questions I've been asked that like changed company policy, because like I didn't know people cared about this, or I didn't know people didn't care about that. So it's like it is the best part of everything. Yeah. Actually, no, I take it back. Can I tell you the best part of where I am right now in my career? Yeah. I walk in today. Within 2 minutes, it was the number one thing I wanted this year, product-wise. So like on January 1st, if there were 50 things this year that I knew were coming out, the number one thing I wanted was the Hallmark video game simulator from Star Trek The Motion Pictures. I cannot believe it exists. All year, I wanted it. I thought I'd get it 2 weeks from now, because that's what it says. That's when you can go into a Hallmark and buy it. Literally 2 minutes in, less than 2 minutes, and by complete coincidence, the guy who was like managing the line he said something to me. Otherwise, I would have kept walking. And I was just like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh, sorry. I thought you." Completely as a joke. I was like, "Hey, you're not selling the simulators yet, are you, from Star Trek?" And he was like, "I'm not a Trekkie, but everything we're selling is right over there." And I looked, and it was for sale. And not only that, there was like 50 people online for the exclusives. There was no one online. So I got it, and I couldn't believe it. And I posted a video about it. Now that I spent 20 minutes on that, this is the point I'm trying to make. 2 friends of mine work at Disney, and by complete coincidence, had a meeting today at Hallmark with the head of consumer products, and they showed her the video. Nice. And she, like, literally, they told me, like, was almost moved to tears. That is the best thing about my job, is getting to talk. Like, I can text with Ed Neumeyer, writer of RoboCop.
Some of us knew that. Just for the record. And Starship Troopers.
Fair.
Thank you for clarifying that for me.
Make sure the geek cred is real, you know. Let's make sure that you
Thank
know that we know.
No.
At least I can't speak for anybody else at the table, but I make sure that I know that. So.
Yes, Mike, from when on our way down and when we talked a couple years ago, I'm still trying to pronounce Nacelle. So
Well, you got it.
And coaching him on it all morning. Coaching on it all morning.
Yeah.
So you have so many things in the hopper, right? It shows and toys and comics. Is there any particular one thing you're the most excited for fans to consume or get their hands on?
Yes. And guess what? Can't talk. And that, by the way, all jokes aside, that's probably the least enjoyable part of my job. And by the way, I will also say, I don't know anyone worse than me. Like I'll be saying shit at an interview or whatever, and then Brian Adams afterwards will be like, "Hey, just so you know, we're not talking about that for another 6 months."
Okay, how about of the things that are announced? Do you have
Okay.
anything you're particularly excited for fans to get their hands on? Any one figure or any comic or anything that you're anything that you're just really excited for the what's like the one thing that sort of jumps out at you is like that's the one.
New Mesa is
Yeah.
about 800 feet off the coast of California,
Right.
and I cannot wait. And I love all of them. They're all great. They're all great. Terrible. And I'm not even like an old school Moo Mesa guy. Like I've gotten into it like somewhat recently. I knew what it was. I've watched it, but like now I'm becoming a big fan.
Yeah.
But Terrible. It's like, first of all, don't drop it on your foot.
Right.
Second of all, I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I don't know, I always worry that comes off as like egotistical, but I had nothing to do with anything. All I did was write some checks. Like, I didn't do the art. I didn't create the characters. I'm not the factory. So I feel like I can say this without ego. Like it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Until Detonator comes out from RoboForce next year,
Right.
I believe, and of course, this is not a Star Trek thing. I believe it's the most beautiful Nacelleverse anything we have ever done. Yeah, like it's the kind of toy I would buy because it's gorgeous, even if I didn't know what the hell Moo Mesa was.
Right.
Yeah, I call that a Robotech. And what I mean by that is I don't know very much about Robotech. It's one of these shows like Doctor Who I'll get into when I'm retired. I just don't have time to start a whole new fucking thing. They're gorgeous. And I probably have 80 to 90 piece Robotech collection.
Right.
I don't know most of their names. I don't know a bunch of it. I just think they're beautiful. And that's how I would be with Terrible.
Right.
But buy them all. Buy them
I
all.
don't
So RoboForce animated series. We talked about it for Animation Scoop in April, and now it has been out. You say stay tuned as far as more information. But what surprised you about the success of it, or the audience reaction to it, or fully how the episodes came out, how that experience has been since the springtime?
You know, it's funny. The thing that surprised me the most shouldn't have surprised me based on my day job and also my former job. You know, I used to be a manager and I represented only comedians, and I've had enough training that this shouldn't surprise me. But basically what happened, and there's like 3 options when you make a show and it premieres. Option 1, hit right out of the gate. Boom. That's probably 20% at best. Could be 15%. The other option is failure, disaster, loss. That's probably 75%. Bad at math, so if this doesn't add up, don't give me shit. But the weird, like 10% of the time, and I call this a Shawshank Redemption, it just takes time. So RoboForce came out. We did a lot of press. We did a lot of marketing. We did all this stuff, and it was like I would say in the first month, maybe the first 2 weeks, but it was a walk to first. It did good. Like we got. I'm not a sports guy, but like I think in baseball, like anyone who does like a 300 is great.
Yeah.
So I mean 700, 70% of the balls you strike out on. So it was great. We got to first base, and I was like, okay, we have a foundation. We can keep going because none of this is guaranteed. If it had bombed, we wouldn't make more. And I'm not saying we're making more. But that said, it took like about 10 weeks. And then I forgot, oh, what, something happened. I saw something on Instagram. Oh, yeah. I know what it was. I can't believe it. I forgot this for a second. There was this woman who had 2 kids, and she posted a picture of her 2 kids with their back to the camera watching RoboForce. And what she wrote was basically, and I wish I could remember it perfectly, but what she basically said was, my 2 kids were driving me fucking crazy, so they wore me down. I turned on the TV. There was some dumbass show about robots, and I watched the damn robots. And she was like, I'm sitting there making dinner, whatever, da 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 da. And she was like, I found myself tearing up about these stupid robots. And I'm like, what is this? And then she like, and the only reason I even know about this is because she tagged Tubi. So she didn't tag me, she didn't tag Nacelle, she only tagged Tubi. And somehow someone at Tubi social media forwarded it to the exec who bought the show, and he sent it to me. And I was literally like, is Alonzo punking me? And I'm like, and then after took off after that. And we saw it with the sales. So the show came out, and we went from selling, if we were selling 10 figures a day, we went to 10 and a half or 11 figures a day. These are not real numbers. About 10 weeks later, if we were selling 10 a day before the series came out, we were doing like 30 to 40 a day 10 weeks later. Yeah, and it stayed there, and even it keeps going up a little bit. And we know from Tubi, who obviously see the numbers, that it's, so basically they plan out how a show is probably going to do using comps, and we've exceeded the comps. And that's like, you know, at the carnival, when you hit the thing and the bell goes off, for a streamer to tell you you've exceeded the comps, that's like winning the World Series.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
that's
very
awesome.
good.
So and very unusual, because normally you either do this or you do this. So the fact that we were like, was very rare and very cool. Yeah.
Having said, that, what do you think your biggest challenge is moving forward now?
For RoboForce?
Yeah, or just anything that you're working on.
I mean, the biggest challenge is, admittedly, like, we got to get the animation better. It's the thing we get dinged on all the time now. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and be defensive about it. If so many people are saying it, it must be true. So I'm not going to be like, but what about this? But what about that? Because the audience doesn't care. No one cares. All they care about is if they feel something, either laughing or crying or anything in between. So we are going to improve the animation for Biker Mice. That's already in the works, as you know, I think. But if there's more RoboForce, it will be improved animation and a exponentially bigger story. So season 1, as you know, only took place in Detroit. If there's a season 2, it'll take place over the whole planet and in space. More, I know all of episode 6 is in space, but still, it's going to be a much bigger show. Cool.
Yeah, Brian, real quick, you have the pre-order for The Expanse. That's got a huge fan base. I love that you're going to bring that fan base in to learn more about Nacelle and discover some of your other properties. But how has the pre-orders been doing for
It's so funny you asked that. It was worse than what I just said about RoboForce. I will be honest with you, the Kickstarter was as unpleasant an experience as I've had in my career. It was awful, absolutely awful. If we do another wave, we will not use Kickstarter. It was awful. But I literally, I have friends of mine that dress up like The Expanse, like when they walk to the grocery store, not even just at cons. And I've even asked them, like, what happened, like, about 8 months ago? Because it was the same thing. We barely got funded. I mean, it took forever to get funded. We barely made the number. And then for about 6 months, it was just doing crappy. And then something happened, nobody knows what. And then it just did that thing again. And now I think part of it might have been Star Trek. Like, because Star Trek people were coming to our website and they were like, I didn't know anyone was doing The Expanse. The other thing that happened was I would like to see someone at a con wearing Expanse outfit, and I'd talk to them and I'd be like, you excited about the toys? And they're like, what toys?
Mhm.
In the last 6 months or so, it's the opposite, where people will come up to me and be like, are you the Expanse guy with the toys? So yes, something happened and we don't know what. Oh, the point I was making, sorry, was like my friend who I said will literally go to the grocery store, like fucking full Expanse gear. Like, I'll ask her what happened 6 months ago. And she's like, she doesn't know. So yeah, that's a probably more direct answer than you were expecting.
No, that's
Thanks,
great.
Brian.
That's great. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any chance Star Wars
Can we
is
take a quick selfie?
Of course.
Thank you.